You are not practicing anything. You are maintaining a corpse. This is not decline. This is not corruption. This is what always happens when a teaching outlives the understanding that created it. The form remains, the interior collapses, and what you are left with is a shell performing itself. A Muslim says, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. They do not mean peace. They do not think peace. It is a sound, a signal, a handshake with different syllables. Islam in that mouth is already dead. A Christian calls himself a man of God. He has not read the book his God supposedly authored. Not once, not through. The faith is a costume, the conviction borrowed from the room he grew up in. Christianity in that life is already dead. A Buddhist sits in silence, not because he has examined the nature of suffering, because silence became the code, the aesthetic, the brand. He avoids attachment as a rule, not as a realized truth. Buddhism, in that posture, is already dead. A Muslim bows at a grave, the first principle of his faith that nothing shares the throne of God, abandoned for a ritual his ancestors inherited and never interrogated. Tawheed in that bow is already dead. A Catholic enters the confessional, lists the same sins, receives the same absolution, walks out unchanged. Transformation was the point. Procedure replaced it. The sacrament in that booth is already dead. A Hindu performs the puja, the incense burns, the bell rings, the prayer is spoken in Sanskrit he does not understand. The philosophy behind it, non-duality, the nature of consciousness, the dissolution of ego, completely absent. A beautiful performance, an empty one. A Jew recites Kaddish in Aramaic. The prayer is about the greatness of God, not grief, not mourning. Most who recite it do not know this. They know the rhythm. They were taught the sound, not the meaning. The mourning continues. The comprehension never began. A student memorizes the formula, derives the correct answer, fails to understand what the answer means. The grade is awarded. The knowledge was never transferred. The educational system in that transaction is already dead. A PhD candidate defends a thesis he cannot explain to his own mother, not because the ideas are complex, because he never understood them. He arranged them. The credential is real, the education is not. A medical student memorizes drug interactions without understanding the mechanism, becomes a doctor who prescribes by pattern, not by comprehension. Medicine in that clinic is already dead. Children recite the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. They do not know what a republic is. They do not know what allegiance costs. They know the words. They have been trained in the sound. Civics in that classroom is already dead. A man donates to charity. The donation is timed for maximum tax efficiency. The impulse was not compassion. It was accounting. Kindness in that check is already dead. A corporation announces its social responsibility program. The press release costs more to produce than the program delivers. Ethics has become a department, a budget line, a narrative. It is not ethics. It is ethics-shaped content. A person shares a charity campaign online, feels the relief of having acted, has not acted, has performed action. The cause continues. The engagement was a simulation. A man votes for the party his father voted for, has never examined the platform, has never interrogated the ideology. He is not participating in democracy. He is transmitting inheritance. Political thought in that vote is already dead. A politician cites the Constitution in his speech, has never read it completely, cites it because the audience hasn't either. Two performances facing each other. Governance in that chamber is already dead. People march, they photograph themselves marching, post the photographs, feel that the marching mattered. Strategy was never discussed. Power was never calculated. Nothing changed. Activism in that march is already dead. A man hangs a painting in his home, has never considered what it means, has considered how it looks against the wall. Art in that frame is already dead. A woman stands in front of a masterpiece in a museum, photographs it, leaves, did not look at it, not really. The encounter lasted 4 seconds. The upload took longer. Culture in that visit is already dead. Books arranged on shelves, spines outward, color coordinated, unread, performing the identity of a person who reads. Literature in that shelf is already dead. Music plays in the background. No one is listening. It is filling silence. The composer bled to make it. It is now atmosphere. Music in that room is already dead. A man quotes Marcus Aurelius, has extracted the quote from context, does not practice Stoic discipline, does not understand Stoic physics. The quote is decoration, a signal of sophistication. Stoicism in that caption is already dead. A woman calls herself a nihilist, has not read Nietzsche, has read about Nietzsche, uses nihilism to avoid accountability. Philosophy in that label is already dead. A man completes his morning routine, cold shower, journaling, meditation, affirmations, does not examine why he thinks what he thinks, does not change how he acts under pressure. The routine is performed, the transformation never initiated. Self-development in that schedule is already dead. A scientist cites consensus, does not examine the studies behind the consensus. Consensus is the method now. Evidence is secondary. Science in that citation is already dead. A study is published, peer-reviewed, credentialed, filed, never replicated, never interrogated. The finding enters the literature. The literature enters textbooks. The textbooks shape policy. No one returns to the data. Empiricism in that pipeline is already dead. A man says, "I love you." He says it every night before sleep. It has become punctuation, the feeling it once pointed to. When did he last examine whether it was still there? Love in that sentence is already dead. A couple celebrates their anniversary, books a reservation, buys a gift, does not speak honestly once during the evening. The date is honored, the relationship is not. Commitment in that performance is already dead. A soldier dies for a country. The country is run by people who will not send their own children. The flag is present at the funeral. The betrayal is also present. Patriotism in that coffin is already dead. A court follows procedure. Procedure was designed to protect the innocent. The innocent man is convicted anyway. Procedure was followed perfectly. Justice in that verdict is already dead. A law is written to protect rights, is applied to suppress them. The letter holds. The purpose is inverted. This is not a failure of law. This is what law becomes when the understanding behind it is no longer present in the room. This is not a list of failures. This is a description of a mechanism. Every teaching was once alive. It was alive because someone understood it, not as a rule, but as a truth they had arrived at through friction, through loss, through direct contact with reality. Then they taught it. Then it was repeated. Then the repetition outlasted the understanding. The form became the point. The form always becomes the point because form is transferable. Understanding is not. You can hand someone a ritual. You cannot hand them the realization that produced it. They must arrive there themselves. If they do not, they are holding an empty vessel and calling it full. Most people never notice. The vessel looks the same from the outside. The ceremony is performed correctly. The words are spoken in the right order. And the thing itself, the living thing the teaching once pointed to, is gone, has been gone for generations, and no one in the ceremony is looking for it. The grave is not the end of a teaching, the ritual is.